Good morning. Welcome to the Community for Conscious Living weekly live broadcast. Today is Sunday, July the 4th, our Independence Day in the United States. The Community for Conscious Living is a community dedicated to personal transformation for universal harmony, healing the planet by making inspired changes in ourselves and in our daily lives to create a sustainable environment and a peaceful world. Happy Day of Independence to those of us in the United States. A word about independence before we reach to our topic today. And let me just say what the topic is. So it's marked at the beginning here. Our topic today is preparing the body for ascension, for the time of ascension, for elevating our consciousness to take advantage of this opportunity to ascend into this era of peace, to live in the peace, the love, unconditional love, the harmony, the unity that we seek at the core of our beings, to return to the true nature of our divinity within us. That is our topic for today. And I want to say a word about independence, given that this is our Independence Day, independence in light of that. And what is independence? What is freedom? Independence, every human being, part of what we are given as a part of coming to this planet in order to go through this life journey, the life journey of forgetting our oneness with Source and connection with all that is. We're given certain things in order to help us to turn away from that bliss and disconnect from it so that we can play out our journey and then make the return back to it, God willing. One of those things is the desire to individuate and to become independent, to exercise our autonomy, and to, along with this, experience the facet of the divine jewel that is contained within us. Each one of us is a facet. We're all at our core, breath of spirit. And we each have a unique expression and representation of that breath of Source, breath of spirit within us, that we express and display as we manifest into this world in physical form. And we have innate within us a desire to individuate in order to know ourselves more completely and express ourselves completely and freely. And we go through a lot of iterations of that along the way, right? Depending on what we are identified with in the moment, whether we're identified with the ego self or with some desire to fit in and please in the material realm or the ego self, or the desire to act on behalf of the greater good and come into unity and harmony with the all that is. And we all go through all of those experiences, maybe many times a day, maybe many times a minute, as we're on this journey on planet Earth, right? And so it's a part of our nature to want to be independent. And so on this Independence Day, I'll make a prayer that we as human beings learn to use our independence and our free will in order to elevate our consciousness and act on behalf of the greatest good, the good for all of humanity, all of animals, all of the planet, all of existence, to know and become one with our Source. And reminds me of something I read. I always get reminded of something I read in one of the books. And this is from Music of the Soul in the chapter called The Lights of the Knowers of God. And Music of the Soul is by Sheikh Muhammad Al-Jamal Al-Rafai Ashaduli, who is my teacher of many years. And this chapter says, "Let there be no uncertainty, and know, my beloved, that if your heart shines with the light, free of the attachments of this world, then the sun of the truth of God reveals itself through your heart and opens everything to his truth within your heart." Opens everything to God's truth within your heart. Then you see all the attributes of this existence as the manifestation of the essence of the unlimited divine truth, and you arrive in the station of the illuminated, free slaves of God, the knowers of God. And he uses that word slave, and it's also when you think about it, in our human selves, we have the light of God and the knowing of God within us. We also have the ego manifestation of that, the forgetting part of ourselves, and we're always a slave to something. You can call it a servant if that word is more comfortable for you. Sometimes that's more comfortable for me, and I use the word servant instead of slave, but we're always a servant to something. So the true freedom comes from choosing what we wish to serve and to what we wish to be enslaved, if you will, and using our free will to choose that, and to, when we make the choices to align with our true divine nature. Sometimes we think, we want to be free, and freedom means doing whatever our ego selves and our minds choose to do. And a lot of times that manifests as wanting to fit in and wanting to break free of the initial constraints that we come to know in our individuated lives. And eventually we come to a place where we recognize that if we have made choices to break free from the original constraints, and that freedom just means that we're trying to fit into somebody else's model of what reality is, we're still not being true to the divine nature within us. And when we again break free from the fitting in or someone else's pictures of what freedom means, and we be true to the divine nature within us, that is where the true freedom comes. The true freedom. Okay, so let's come into our prayer and healing circle. And our topic today about aligning our habits and practices to elevate the physical body is also bringing us into alignment with our true nature and preparing the physical body to elevate in consciousness, to raise our vibration and raise our frequency and elevate our consciousness so that we are body, heart, soul, spirit, mind all together elevating. And I believe that as our consciousness is shifting on the planet, we have a choice to ascend and to move into this era of peace. And I want to help as best I can to give us tools, and tools that we can practice together, that we can help to lift ourselves so that we can take advantage of this opportunity and ascend. I speak from my beliefs, and I do know that our eyes can see at a certain frequency range. Our eyes can perceive information in a certain frequency range and transfer that information into our brains, and we have a cognitive knowing of things that we see through the physical eyes. Same with hearing. We can hear within a certain frequency range, from a low range to a high range, and that what we hear will take information into our brains and into our cognitive knowing. It gives us information. I also believe that around us and in our on our earth here, there are many things that are outside of the ranges of our perceptions that we can perceive through our human senses. And there have been times in my spiritual journey when my sight and hearing has been opened, and I've been able to see things that I don't normally see or didn't normally see before that. But there has been times where things have been really open and I've seen a lot. And my experience has been that there is much more that we don't see than what we do see when we're just present to our typical human senses. And so, it's just like when you blow a dog whistle. Humans can't hear the pitch of the dog whistle, but a dog can hear that, and they'll come. So, as we are shifting our consciousness, I believe that we have the opportunity to elevate and shift to the higher frequencies where we can live in an experience of unconditional love and peace and unity, where all of us are aligned with acting and being and experiencing and expressing for the greater good of the whole. I also believe that, who knows, maybe not all will ascend at this time. I do believe that things may get much worse and darker on the planet if we do not ascend. And that's just my feeling and perceptions about that. So I invite you to take in this information today and to bring it into your practices to help to elevate your own being, your own consciousness, to shift your frequency to higher vibrations, and make the conscious choice to ascend. You can ask for the help from your guides, from the angels, from all that are around you that you may or may not see or perceive through your human senses. Ask for their help because they are here, they are there, they are everywhere, and they have a consciousness that that allows them to hear and see and respond and to help you. We have free will, so we have to ask. Okay. So let's go ahead and come into our prayer and healing circle. And let's come into our circle sitting side by side, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, knee to knee, coming together as one. And let's bring all of our senses and perceptions to face toward the center of the circle. And together let's call on our source in the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate. We call on you. We ask you to send your essence of your pure divine light. Just imagine, perceive, feel, sense in whatever way you do this pure divine light streaming into the center of our circle. And let's just feel this light and bask in this light. You know what it feels like to bask in the warm sunshine and feel the sun on your skin. Feel this pure divine light streaming into the center of our circle. And let your entire being bask in this light. Feel this light landing on your physical body, touching your skin. And this pure divine light is a purifying light. So let this come in. Let it come in through your pores. And let it come into your senses, into your eyes, and let it cleanse from your organs of sight and your pathway of seeing, your neurological pathways that transfer that information of seeing. Let it come through those channels and cleanse and purify your sight. We have many obstructions, many things that we have chosen not to see, that we've closed our physical and mental sight to, and subtle perceptions to. Let this purifying divine light just cleanse and wash away any of those filters that you do not need at this time, that you don't need to be clouding over your vision, so that you can be present with truth that is before you in the moment. And that paragraph I read at the beginning talked about letting go of the attachments of the world. And this is part of letting go of the attachments of the world. Most of the things that we are protecting ourselves from through the things that veil our sight are there because of attachments to either things, mostly things that have happened in our past, or things that we fear of the future. So let those be cleansed by this purifying light and clean your vision so that you can be awake and present to what is before you in the moment. And let this pure divine light also come in through your ears and your sense of hearing, and do the same, cleansing and purifying from your organs of hearing and your neurological pathways, anything that you have closed your ears to and closed your hearing to that doesn't need to be closed. Things that are attachments from the past or fears of the future that are not serving your highest purpose in this moment, and that are keeping you from being present with the truth that is in front of you in any moment. And let this pure divine light come in through your nose, and do the same with your sense of smell. Let it come in through your mouth. Do the same with your sense of taste. And again, through all of your pores, through all of your sensory perceptions, being cleansed with this vibration of pure divine light. And this is one of the things in itself that we do, and we do this every week as a means of helping us to release the densities and the obstructions to the flow of light and love that moves through us. And this in itself helps to elevate the vibration of the physical. And taking a full and gentle breath, breathing that pure divine light into your core. And as you exhale, let's come together again in the center of our circle. And together let's call on our source. In the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate, we call on you. We ask you to send your essence of your unconditional love. Just feel this vibration of pure, unconditional love streaming into the center of our circle, filling the container of our virtual space with pure divine light and unconditional love. And again, let yourself just feel, perceive, sense this pure divine love streaming into the center of our circle, filling our space like a gentle ocean. And let your entire being just submerge, immerse into this ocean of pure divine love, unconditional love. This is love that loves regardless of any conditions that we put on love, any conditions that we put on ourselves as deserving or worthy of love. But this is love, love that could care less about our conditions. It just is, and it just does. It is love, and it loves, and it is loving. And it loves to love and loves to be loving and loves to be received. Actually, it doesn't care, I don't think, about whether or not we receive it. It just is. Our choice is to receive it. So I invite you to breathe this pure, unconditional love into your heart and feel your body immersed in this gentle ocean of unconditional love, and let your being, if your being wants to swim in it, just feel your being wanting to just float, and let the floating, the weightlessness of it, just release any of the tension from your body, and feel yourself held in pure, unconditional love, fully loved, fully accepted as you are, for who you are, for what you are, a being of light and love, reflecting the aspects of the jewel of your divine creator and your divine source, and held in pure love as you are a being of love. And with each breath, breathe this pure, unconditional love and pure divine light into your body. Breathe it in through your heart center. And as you exhale, let it fill your core. And just let it land into your pelvic bowl and fill up all of the core of your physical body with pure divine light and unconditional love. At the core of your body, the core, the depths of your heart, and the core of your center is the breath of spirit, which does contain these frequencies of pure divine light and unconditional love. This is the core of your essence as a spiritual being incarnate. And so allow, as these vibrations of pure divine light, these energies of pure divine light and unconditional love come into your body, let it awaken the pure divine light and unconditional love at the core of your being and at the depths of your heart. And let this outer vibration meet the inner vibration, and invite the inner vibration to resonate even stronger, its vibrations of your own inner essence of pure divine light and unconditional love, and let that grow stronger and stronger at the core of your being. So the pure divine light and unconditional love within you is resonating strongly, vibrating from within, and resonating with this pure divine light and unconditional love that is surrounding you and being breathed into your body. And with each breath, inhale it in, and as you exhale, let yourself release any of the obstructions and the tensions between the outer and the inner, between the inner and the outer, until the outer meets the inner meets the outer, and there is only one vibration of pure divine light and unconditional love. And let's call on our source one more time. We call on you. We ask you to send your essence of your eternal compassion, the ocean of compassion that is the true ocean, the womb of all of creation, that all of this realm that we know of time and space is contained within. You know, we talk about the ascension, ascending us into higher dimensional beings. And one of the Sufi mystics, Ibn al-Arabi, I think he's from the 1200s. That doesn't matter though. He talked about the fourth dimension. And what is the fourth dimension? He talked about time as a fourth dimension. You know, just like a one dimension is just like a dot. A two dimension is a line, and like, you know, two planes, like a sheet of paper. And a 3-dimension then is like a cube, right? Or a sphere. The 4th dimension, what would a 4th dimension be? 4th dimension, he talked about the 4th dimension as the dimension of time. Like if we were to expand ourselves beyond this 3-dimensional realm, that we might see that this 3-dimensional realm is a realm in which we only see a slice of time, a slice of existence at any given time. So it's sliced into time segments. And in any given time, we see a snapshot of what is happening in a much larger existence. But if we expanded beyond that, we would be able to see from the beginning to the end and from the end to the beginning, and we would be able to see time. And he talked about existence of the individuals being like space worms and like, tunnels of time. And that as we're in this 3-dimensional world, we only see one slice of that, one instance of that worm, of that space worm of time. We only see one little slice of it at a time as it's passing through this dimension. And as we ascend into higher dimensions, that we may have the ability to see beyond one little slice of what's happening in any given moment. Right here we see moment by moment by moment by moment. As we expand, we'll be able to see longer segments of time and understand the divine nature within it. Because everything comes from the divine love and divine light and returns to the divine love and the divine light. And the divine love and divine light is containing and holding everything, and the eternal compassion, the womb of our existence, contains everything, holds everything, and is present within everything. Sometimes it's hard to see from here, but it is. So as we call on that eternal compassion, this, again, let yourself expand into the ocean of the eternal compassion. That is the ocean that extends beyond our time and space realm, that contains all of the existence, and beyond time. Eternal is beyond time. And compassion is a bridge between the worlds, between this 3D material world and the world of unity, the world of oneness, the world of the expanded consciousness. And the way that we prepare our hearts and our bodies is through compassion, through knowing compassion, through practicing compassion, through extending compassion into everything that we do and everything that we be, that we are. So continue to swim in this ocean of divine light and unconditional love and eternal compassion as we explore today the ways that we can be with our physical body and our physical nature to help to elevate our consciousness and to shift our vibrations into the higher frequencies, higher realms, so that we can ascend into this era of peace and unconditional love as this time is so available to us right now, as this opportunity is available. So I want to talk about first some of the things that we do that really lower the consciousness. And I can talk about, the things we talk about a lot on this program are the pains of the heart and the feelings that have us feeling betrayed, and our need for forgiveness and our need for compassion and our need for truth and honesty and all of those things. And those are things we do to heal the heart. And they have a definite impact on the physical, the vibration of the physical body. All of those things apply. And as, what the things that we do to sustain our physical health and our physical body. I know a lot of people on this that are regulars here are already aware of the effects of some of these things, but I want to say them anyway just because it is so important. The first thing that I want to talk about is alcohol. And so before you turn off the dial, if you're somebody who likes to enjoy a glass of wine or, whatever, alcohol, it's actually, the word comes from the word alcohol. I believe it's Kohl, and it means that which removes the spirit from the body. Alcohol is one of those things that, it does not lift our vibration or get us in touch with our truth. It relieves stress from the body so that we can relax more, but it's actually does it in a way where it takes us away from rather than moving us into the state of unity and oneness within our beings. And honestly, I want to talk about not just alcohol, but anything that takes us out of our natural rhythms, our natural rhythm and oneness with Source. That being alcohol, that being any of the addictive substances that we are very commonplace in our human existence, which is cigarettes or tobacco that has, I know there's some ways to use tobacco that is not as addictive and not as bad for the body. But for the most part, the use of tobacco is one of the things that can, anything that makes us dependent on a substance, any substance. Caffeine. Caffeine can put us on that energy roller coaster of spiking and crashing and spiking and crashing. And if you've ever like maybe gotten used to caffeine and then gotten away from it, so it's all of these things that I'm mentioning: alcohol, tobacco, caffeine. I'm going to mention some more as well. Any drugs, or I'm going to get into foods in a minute, because foods, I think, has a special category. Any of those things that put us on a roller coaster ride and keep us out of our steady state of just being in the high vibration and experiencing our oneness. Now there's, I can laugh at this because yes, there's life itself. I used to manage a team of people that we managed the events for the School of Spiritual Healing and the university, what's now the University of Sufism. And I don't really know what iteration of it is. Let me just say this. It's changed a lot, and I don't know what it's changed to. But anyway, when I used to be a part of the team there, I managed a team that managed all of the events for the University of Spiritual Healing and Sufism. And one of the things that we would do is we would make sure that we were as prepared as possible for everything that was needed and anticipating the things that, might go wrong, so that anything that was outside of our preparation that did come up, we were more prepared to manage it and to handle it with ease and with grace. And you can think of your physical body in the same way, because there was always something that was going to come up, and just know that it took us a while to really get to that place where we were dialed in, where we had it going on so well that we could, we were prepared enough to deal with the things that came up and hopefully not get totally derailed by them. If we had not done the preparation ahead of time, and if we had not, been dialed into some possibilities and been in the state that we needed to be in our self-care to manage what was going to come, then when the little things went wrong, it would have looked much worse and probably been much worse than it was, given that we were in the best state we could be. The same is true for taking care of the body and keeping the body in a pure state as you move through life, because life is going to have things, is going to present you with things, and the better and the more that you do to take care of yourself and to keep yourself in a pure vibration and in a state that is centered and connected and vibrating at the higher realms of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion, then the better shape you'll be in to deal with whatever life presents you in the moment. So instead of getting totally derailed and crashing, you can manage whatever comes before you from a place of centeredness and connectedness with more ease and grace. So the alcohol, the tobacco, the caffeine, the drugs, any of those kinds of things, if you are using them, then I invite you to begin weaning yourself from them and to eliminate them from your self-care, from your daily practices and habits, and just take them out of your life altogether. Let your reliance be on Source and your connection with Source and shifting into these higher vibrations, rather than on the substances that are going to perhaps lower your vibration and put you on an energy roller coaster. And then I want to talk about processed foods, anything that has the unnatural ingredients, anything that has the additives, preservatives, colors, the unpronounceables, and things that have been removed from their natural. God gave us this earth and gave us the sustenance from the earth and gave us the knowing of how to take our sustenance from the earth to care for ourselves. And so to eat the foods that are as close as possible to the way that they come from the earth, and to take to eat them in their whole food form as much as possible, as they contain their nutrients and their enzymes. And a lot of times, when we peel certain vegetables and fruits, the peeling on a lot of the things that we eat, not everything, of course, is what contains the highest density of the phytonutrients that are healthy for the body, that are going to keep the body hydrated. The high water content foods, the fresh fruits and vegetables that come from the earth are going to be higher in water content. They're going to be higher in the natural minerals that we need. They're going to keep us hydrated and alkalized, keep us in an alkaline state. And this is going to help to cleanse your body, to cleanse your perception, to help you to shift your vibrations so that your frequency range of your perceptions can increase, and you can be more calm and more stable and more steady. Now, any of these things, again, if you have been, processed foods have been designed and engineered, if you will. Anytime you hear a food that comes from an industry that has engineers, especially chemical engineers, working on the processing of your food, know that that is not natural. That is not natural. God gave us what we need when God created the earth, and God gives us the sustenance that we need to take from that earth that is going to be the perfect package to work in harmony with our bodies, so that our bodies can take what our bodies need from the earth in order to be sustained and healthy. When we start processing the foods, engineering the foods, adding things to the foods that are not natural, this takes away from the aliveness of the food, from the vibration of the food, from the body's ability to receive the nutrition and the nourishment from the food. And it actually puts us into a state of depletion, because now the body's got to go into its resources and take from its resources to complete the foods, the unwhole foods that we're receiving, so that we can get nourishment from it. So, and processed foods are engineered to be addicting. They have the combination of sugar, fat, and salt, which has been engineered to perfection to addict us to these processed foods, so that we will eat more and want more, so that it increases the profits for the manufacturer. And at the same time as we're eating more and more, it actually brings more and more harm to the body. So weaning off of those processed foods as much as possible is going to help you to return your body to its natural rhythms and its natural state and its natural, you'll feel the aliveness and the cleanliness of it after you get through the detoxification from weaning off of the addictions. And that's true for any of these. I used to be a colon hydrotherapist, and I would lead group cleanses and help people through the cleansing process. And so many times when people would get to that place of, I can't do this, it's making me sick, what is happening is it is just your body detoxing from years and years and years of the toxification. So your body's detoxing, and that can, we have to take precautions. And let me just say, if you want some help through any of this, you're welcome to contact me, because this is something I've worked with for a long time. To let the toxins leave the body, to assist the toxins in leaving the body, so that your being can return to its natural state. And I want to talk about meat and dairy next, and then I want to talk about some habits and practices with food and with our consumption that can help us to care for, because it's not just what we take into the body, it's how we take it in that also impacts our body's ability to be in harmony and rhythm with it. So the meat and the dairy. The meat, I do believe there was a time in our human and animal history where the animals there was an intention that we were to eat meat and to use animals for products and for clothing and things like that. There was a time where there was a oneness with nature in that. Our world has moved so far beyond anything that is in oneness, in harmony, in compassion with nature. The industries of the meat and the dairy are so inhumane and so destructive and so just painful to think about or to feel into. The destruction and the hurt that they put on our animals. I mean, I could go into some severe pain here, and I'll spare us that. I won't go into that. But if you do want to have that conversation at some time, we can. If you want to talk further about it, we can. But the animals that are bred and born into these captive situations, and then taken from there to slaughter to become our food. There is, I understand now it's up to 80 billion animals per year that are slaughtered for food and for products that we use as a part of our daily lives. And that comes to, I did the math wrong last time I did the math on it, and I don't remember the number now, but it was something 2,500 per second of animals that are slaughtered in inhumane conditions. And if you want to talk about a vibrational field, that the soup we swim in, the soup we swim in has a vibrational field. We can turn our dials, our internal radio frequency, to align with whatever vibrations in the field that we want to align with. And if we are aligning with any of the meat and the dairy industry, or any of the industry that uses animals and produces products from the animals. We are attuning our frequency to a very low vibration, a vibration of trauma that is just pulsating out into the cosmic soup. And just think about second by second of 2,500 animals being slaughtered second by second and pulsating that vibration into the cosmic soup. Our bodies at this point, especially at the elevated frequencies of elevated vibrations, do not need that animal product. And as we do move into this era of peace, there is no place in a world of peace and love and compassion and unity for that industry or any of its practices at all. There is no place for us to kill animals for food or for products of any kind. All of that is shifting as we shift into the era of peace. So we need to begin now to wean ourselves off. And if you can, just stop completely and do nothing, like in no way align your vibration with the vibrations of that industry that is perpetuating that pulsation of trauma and destruction into the cosmic soup and harming the planet in the way that that industry harms the planet. So if you can, just quit all at once. Drive a stake in the ground and say, I don't need this. I'm going to give my body live foods in the way that they come from the earth. I'm going to give my bodies the high water content foods, the high vibration foods to help my consciousness, to help to detox my body and shift my consciousness into the higher vibrations. Do that now. There will be no place and no existence of any of that industry as we shift into the higher vibrations. We will not use animals for food or products of any kind. So take a deep breath and let that land. We want to eat foods as close as possible to the way they come from the earth. We want to eat foods of a variety of colors. You've heard probably eat the rainbow. Eat foods from the colors of the rainbow. Your chakras are the colors and the vibrations of your chakras align with the vibrations of the colors of the rainbow. So as you eat the rainbow, eat the live, whole foods from the colors of the rainbow. It helps to nourish your physical body and your energy centers, bringing the live, high water content, high mineral content, enzyme-rich foods into your physical body, helps your physical body and the energy centers that align along your physical body. And another thing and I know I don't think it's too much. And just one other thing I want to say about this is, two more things. As we eat, to eat when we're hungry and to use other practices when we're feeling emotional, when we're feeling empty, when we're feeling a need for connection, when we're feeling lonely and we need to fill a void, when we're feeling stressed, any of those things. Notice when you're eating for those reasons and you're not physically hungry, and use these practices of the centering, the grounding, the meditation, and check in with your body. What am I feeling? And what do I need? What does my heart need? What does my body need? And learn to have this enhanced relationship with yourself that tunes into what does my heart need, what does my body need, and listen and align with that. That's what's going to really nourish you in the way that you need to be nourished, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, so that you're not reaching for food at a time when your body cannot receive and take in the nourishment from the food. Because once it gets to a certain point, when we overfill the stomach, we overstuff the body, then it creates more toxicity. So when we can learn to just be present with the stomach, slow down our eating, engage when the stomach is not when it's full, but when it's no longer feeling empty. If we can stop eating at that point and not overfill the stomach, it is going to improve health and digestion in huge ways. That right there. So only eating when you're physically hungry and not overfilling your stomach when you do eat is going to improve your health, your physical, mental, emotional health in huge ways. And then the last thing I wanted to say is to eat with reverence. Make your relationship with food and with the planet, with the earth, with the waters, make that a spiritual practice. Reverence and gratitude for what you have received as sustenance, for the provision that is given to you in any day, in any moment. You use that as an opportunity to come into gratitude. And when you come into gratitude before you take food into your body, it literally physically prepares your digestive system and your nervous system to receive the food and the nourishment from the food. We have we have a polyvagal system. One of your cranial nerves, called the vagus nerve, is a wanderer, and it moves through your body, and it communicates and innervates your organs of digestion. And that nerve needs for you to be in a state of relaxation and openness in order for it to communicate properly and for your digestive system to operate properly, in order for your foods to be digested and take in the nourishment that you can derive from those foods. So eat with reverence. Bring yourself into gratitude. And I'll share with you a prayer I like to say with food. It says, we give thanks, or if you're alone, I thank you, thanking your source, thanking the planet. I thank you for this food that you have given from this blessed earth. Please bless this food, make it holy to nourish my body, my mind, my heart, my soul, my spirit. I receive this food as a gift of sustenance for my body, nourishment for my body, of love for my heart, and of reverence for my spirit. And allow yourself to be connected in gratitude and receive. And there's so much more I can say, but I don't want to take up any more of your time. If you would like to talk about any of this, I'd be happy to connect with you. You're welcome to reach out to me and through my website, Joyfully Living Wellness. There's a place there where you can schedule a breakthrough session, and you're welcome to schedule a time to chat with me about any of this. And if there's a way I can support you in making these transitions, I'm happy to support you. My teacher taught about a lot of these things, and one of the things that he said about in our, in the Sufi practices, we talk about the fana, which is the annihilation of the self, dying to the self, and then the baqa, the returning to subsist in the perfect subsistence. And he said in our desire to annihilate into oneness with the divine, that the last thing to go, the final frontier, is our relationship with food. One of the hardest things for us to heal is our relationship with food. So if you need support on that, please reach out to me. We're all works in progress, and the more that we can do to help and support each other to elevate, then the easier time we will have making this transition on the individual level and on the mass consciousness level. So with that, I'll end for now and invite you to stay for the Q&A. I'm going to stop the recording. If you're listening to the recording, please join us live on Sundays at 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. U.S. Pacific Time. You can find information for joining the calls at joyfullylivingwellness.com, joyfullylivingwellness.com. While you're there, pick up your copy, The 10 Spiritual Principles of Our Human Existence. Excuse me. It's a one sheet that gives you a 10 principles, excuse me, of our humanity and in our what this world is about, is our human beings, our spirits are traveling in this human existence on this planet Earth. It also gives you a 15-minute guided meditation that you can use as a daily practice to help you to align with and embody this divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion to shift your vibration into the higher frequencies and release the obstructions and the tension from your physical self, which we all can benefit from in anytime, anytime on any day. So please take advantage of that. And for now, and I hope to see you next Sunday. For now, I'll stop the recording and open for the Q&A. Thank you very much.